faith, love, openness, and willingness. You're in the flow.
When you're in the flow, have faith that a transformation can happen. Love yourself through every step. Be open and willing to have a new experience.
Get in the flow with Rev Skip and Chad Bradford.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
You're in the flow with Rev Skip and Chad Bradford.
Faith, love, openness, and willingness. You're in the flow.
Subscribe, like, and share. Spread the love.
You're in the flow on the New Thought Media Network. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of In the Flow with Rev Skip and Chad Bradford here on the New Thought Media Network. And if this is your first time, we definitely ask you to please subscribe, share, like, spread the love so that we can continue to spread this word of oneness and positivity all over the globe. And of course, I'm Rev Skip, and my brother from another mother, Chad Bradford, is out today. He is doing service on the planet. He's out there making a difference. So we're sending you love, Chad. I think he might be listening and might be with us here. He is always with us in spirit. And also, I know we were out last week, but we are back in full force for the next 3 weeks. We have some incredible guests, especially the one we have coming up today, which I'm so excited about. And I love to talk about this brother, the one who helps me to put this all together, who's my co-producer, Diego. You get to come back into the space once again.
Well,
hey.
Good morning, Godling.
How are you, my brother?
I'm doing well. Oh, I'm just so excited and pumped up for our guests that we have today. And
yeah,
it's such a treat.
You and me both. And, it's so funny because you kind of had the opportunity to move away from actually being on camera. And Chad's out today. First thing I say, I need you on camera today, brother. So welcome back onto the camera.
Oh, always to be here, to be of service in any way possible.
And you look good, my brother.
Wait, thank you.
You look good. So last week
I'm
we were
so
gone.
excited to hear about everything going on in your world right now.
Oh, my brother. We were gone last week because I was down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I was candidating for associate minister in CSL, Center for Spiritual Living, Fort Lauderdale. And I am happy to say I have been offered the position and I accepted. Yeah. And so I will be in Florida November 1. So we're going to be broadcasting from Florida. Let's see. I think Arkansas, where Chad is, and you are in Denver.
Colorado, yeah.
Colorado.
Just north of Denver, yeah.
So we are just going to be all over the United States. So
coast to coast.
Coast to coast. Coast to coast. I'm just grateful because of the fact that, for the last, I would say, year and 9 months, 10 months, been up and down with, the finances coming through and just to be able to go and share my gifts and to actually bring in, look at Reverend Cheryl
Rev
there.
Cheryl's here with us. Rev Cheryl, so good to see you.
I love you. Thank you so much. And it is so, she's one of my mentors and teachers, and she actually gave me a reference for me to have this position. And so it's great to be able to go and share my gifts in a community. So so grateful. Diego, how you been, man? How you been?
Oh, just so happy. Everything expanding here at New Thought Media Network. It got something in the works that I think we're going to be bringing some Spanish speaking programming here to the network. I'm so excited about that.
And Reverend Cheryl loves that idea because she has been leading our community at Agape of, Spanish speaking workshops and languages. So Reverend Cheryl, do you hear that? We're going to have some Spanish speaking events here.
Been talking with the spiritual leader at CSL Mexico City, and we're thinking about we are planning on broadcasting their services, and their services are aired on Saturday evenings, I believe. So it's not going to conflict with any of the other CSL services I do on Sunday Sunday mornings. It's just all worked out wonderfully.
And this is the work that we're here to do. We're talking about inclusivity. Yes, see. We're here for inclusivity, and we must be willing to meet everyone and bring them into the mix, and you're welcome. So my Spanish, I am actually going to start taking Spanish lessons because I'm moving to Florida and I want to be able to, I always said I wanted to speak, I would be able to speak Spanish. So I'm going to be working on that.
When I was out there with you in California, and people
should have been doing it.
Always talk to me about your name's Diego Reyes. You don't speak Spanish.
You don't speak Spanish, right? Sorry. So I've
been getting very good at using Google Translate.
I have too, but I would actually be able to speak and not go, hold on, let me speak in this and show you my smartphone.
Yeah, I would. My father probably would be very proud if I learned some Spanish too.
Right. So I'm going to start one of the apps very soon, and I'm going to learn me some Spanish. So
look at there, we'll be doing together.
Good. Thank you, Diego. I love you so much, my friend.
Have a great show.
Thank you, everyone. And now it's time for...
Now it's time for our Wellness Wake Up.
So everyone, our Wellness Wake Up, I'm wearing my yoga sweatshirt that you can get actually from the Awake Shop. It's available right now. So go to thewakeshop.org, get your yoga sweatshirt. And so this is the thing about yoga, and I've been teaching yoga for a long time. And this comes out of my book, The Little Book for Big Transformation. And I talk about this quite a bit, a lot of yoga in that book. And it says here, and I write, when we release the mind stronghold and surrender to the yoga posture, we are synchronizing body, mind, and spirit in union with our spiritual source. So whenever I have gone into yoga, and I love what Bob Thurman said a couple of weeks ago, he was on the show, and Bob Thurman talked about having the orgasm in yoga, the bliss. And I have falling into that place where when I release the struggle of the pose is when I can fall into the bliss of the practice. So if you're taking yoga or you're beginning yoga, or you know that someone said you need to do yoga, I'm going to invite you to fall into the bliss of the practice. Allow yourself to be in a place where you feel the immersive love experience through yoga. Now, there are certain types of yoga. There are many types of yoga. There is a gentle yoga flow that I teach online on Thursdays at Insight Timer. And I also teach a lot of restorative yoga. But then there's the vinyasa classes that are more, in tune, more, a little harder, whatever the practice is, it doesn't matter. I believe that yoga is a spiritual practice where we can incorporate the physical with everything else that we are transforming in our lives. So, me, I love me some yoga. The acronym of yoga that I use, and I'll end with this, yoga is an acronym that I use, your omni-God awareness. when we are aware of the omni power of our spirit and of God and the connection, that is when we're really tuning into the transformational energy that is within us already. Yeah? Good. Get some yoga on this week, everyone. It's time for the Quotable Ponder. So how can I have a guest like the guest that we have on today and not have her lyrics as our quotable ponder today? And if you're new to this, our quotable ponder is a quote that we ponder throughout the week. Here it is, y'all. My favorite Karen Drucker song, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. Okay, y'all, let me tell you, I'm grateful to be able to have a position, have a work coming through, be able to go to Florida. But my question for you is it possibly grateful when you are in the midst of the shift hitting the fan, when we are having trouble finding work, we're having trouble in our health, and we're having experience of things that are dis-ease in our life, or maybe there's a breakup, or maybe there's a loss of a loved one. And I don't believe in loss. I believe that there's a transition, but we go through the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of life. Can we have a practice of gratitude no matter what? And as we teach on this show quite a bit, gratitude is the game changer. Gratitude will shift anything that you're going through to a place where you can see infinite possibilities. You can uplift this heaviness that we carry from life. Gratitude is my number one go-to practice. I'm always saying thankful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So today I'm asking you, can you be grateful even when you're being challenged, even when you're going through it? Can you be grateful? And if you're on with us live right now, I want you to drop into the feed. What are you grateful for today? What are you grateful for today? That's enough from me. Well, it won't be enough for me because I get to have an incredible conversation with our guests. As you know, and I've been talking about this on social all week long, Karen Drucker, one of my favorite New Thought artists, she's with us today. Let me tell you just a little bit, and we're going to have her come into the feed. Karen's message is all about healing and love. Yes, it is. Whether singing one of her positive message songs or sharing stories that are funny, and she is hilarious, y'all. She's hilarious, inspiring, and heart-opening. She is a keynote speaker, women's retreat facilitator, entrepreneur, entertainer. She's recorded over 20 CDs, and if you don't have a Karen Drucker CD, get one, get two, get three, get five, get them all. Her music's so inspirational. In fact, it has just shifted my life when I was going through some medical things I was experiencing, and I put on one of the healing chants, and it just shifted everything that, I felt, and I believe that was a part of the healing. Again, I've already said it. My favorite song is I Am So Blessed. So I want to bring my dear friend into this mix. Hello.
Okay, before we do anything, I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. Yeah, I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Let me sing it one more time. Sing with me now. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. So grateful. I am so grateful. All that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. So you know why I wrote that song? Let me tell you, Skip, it's exactly what you're talking about today. So I was at a Sillamar back in, I don't know, a million years ago. And Reverend Mark Vieira, you know Reverend Mark, great minister, up there doing his talk. And we're all in the audience, and he's, doing his typical thing, and he's laughing and joking. And he goes, all right, everybody, I got to tell you, this is the hardest week of my life because I'm losing my partner. And, he's going to make his transition any day. And he said, in the midst of all of this drama and tragedy and heartbreak, every day, I'm getting chills even just talking about this. Wow, that's really interesting. every day I start going, I'm so blessed. Now he's in the midst of like the hardest thing in the world. He just keeps going, I need to keep reminding myself, I am so blessed for this relationship. I'm so blessed that I have the heart to be able to be, fully present to this moment. And I walked out of that auditorium. I was so moved. And I said, I need to have a touchstone that when I'm in the midst of the pits and the shit and everything,
Right.
that I can come back to something. So I wrote that song in a place when I was actually in the dark night of my soul. Because I remember saying I need to write something, but I didn't do it. And then all of a sudden I had gone through some really hard times. And I wrote that song as a reminder. And so Mark was the inspiration to have it be that when you're in that place of like, you can't see any light. But why I wrote that was to say, if you can just focus in on the smallest little teeny piece of light, and that could be just going, wow, I'm going to wake up and have a great cup of coffee this morning. Or I've got this friend that I know I'm going to connect with today that's going to make me feel better. The smallest thing can then widen that light so that you can, and we're not talking about spiritual bypass here, which always pisses me off when people go, oh, it's all good. Well, it's not all good right
It's
now.
not all good.
But it can just open up that light so that you can just see something a little bit different. And so that's what the practice of gratitude is for me. It's just bringing me back to center. It's still all the problems could still be there. COVID still could be there. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. Whatever it is, but I can come back to what is one thing that I can be grateful for.
And the one thing I love about what we're doing here, and when I listen to the song, I get a chance to hear it every week. CSL Fort Lauderdale plays it after the offering, and I know that Enlightened Heart played it, so I've been hearing it a lot. I've been hearing a lot throughout the last few years. But one thing I realized, Karen, is that when I was packing, and I'm packing in the midst of packing up my home, and I'm feeling this myriad of emotions, there was this sadness, there was this angst, and it was just a week of doing that, getting things in order. And I was missing my best friend. He's online right now. Bill's online. And I'm missing him before I'm even leaving. And in the midst of packing with tears running down my eyes, I just started automatically going into, I am so blessed. I mean, it was like, that's what was playing in my head. I didn't have to go after it. It was already within me.
Wow. That's great. Well, and that's what I think spiritual practice is that I truly believe that, we all have whatever emotions and whatever life stuff is happening in our lives come up, but it's the difference of, do you go to that spiritual practice and it can bring you back to center?
Yes.
Or do you, build a condo and invite everyone over for appetizers and drinks and hang out there for days? We're all going to go. We're all going to go there. It's like, we get triggered. I mean, I have a song for everything. And I wrote a song called I'm Triggered, I'm Triggered, I'm Triggered.
I love that song.
And when you get triggered, what I say in the song is, I've gone offline, because it's your brain just goes offline. You just are like all the books and the fabulous ministers you've listened to and the songs you've sung all about positivity go into the toilet.
Yes.
Can't access anything.
Right.
But the difference is when you can have something that just brings you back, like, oh yeah, now I remember. And you come back to that place of center, whether it's a song or, a phrase or, a little mantra that you have that just brings you back, you can come back faster. Maybe that's all that we're trying to do is just come back faster.
I truly believe that. And speaking of coming back faster, I want to ask, which I always ask all the guests, how has COVID shifted you? In what way and how have you been living through this experience? It's been a sacred reset for me, but I always am very curious how people living through this experience.
It's been very interesting. So, I have to be honest with you. I take full responsibility for all this because in January of, is it 2020 now? I mean,
we're 2021. We're 2021.
Okay, but in 2020, when this all first started,
right, 2020,
I was kind of going. So I love what I do. I mean, I speak, I sing, I do concerts, I do women's retreats, but I was traveling all over the country, like every weekend, and I was pretty burnt out just from the travel part, not from the work, but from the travel part. And I said, okay, God, I just need a couple weeks to just stop the train and figure out, what is mine to do, because this is kind of burning me out. And then all of a sudden,
Boom.
This happened. This was in March. I said in March, I'd like to have 2 weeks off to just figure this out. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I didn't ask for the entire world to stop. I just needed a little break. But what happened was all my gigs went, up in smoke, and I freaked out. Again, triggered, totally lost all spiritual practice. I'm in Mayday, Mayday. I'm going to die. I'm going to starve. What am I going to do? But I'll tell you something, when you need to figure stuff out, you do. And I had never done any of this. I couldn't even stand to look at myself on screen. It was like, oh my God, I can't do anything online. And one of my friends said, this pandemic is going to cure you of your technophobia, which, by the way, I've never seen as great of graphics as you have on this show. I am so
Diego, we work together. Okay, Diego, we're going to go on.
But I learned how to do, all of a sudden I just started saying yes to, like CSL was doing these concerts, and people were saying, do you want to go online and do a podcast or this or that? And I started to just say yes to everything. I remember the very first CSL concert series that I did. I was more nervous than I'd been in years. My heart was beating so loud when I did, I'm online, I'm singing, I'm playing. And I remember at the end, I do this hour concert, and it's like, oh my God, it was great. And I did it. And then at the very end, I couldn't remember how you leave. And so here I did this whole thing, and I'm like singing and everything's great. And at the very end, I'm like, okay, how do you end it?
How do you get out of this room? I love it.
But what it's done for me, it was exactly what you said, like this spiritual reset. Because for me, I'm now doing women's retreats and workshops and concerts and doing it all online. And at the end, I click off and I'm home. I don't have to go on a 5-hour plane flight. So it's been really, and if anything, the real truth of it, that's the physical part, but the deeper part of your question for me is that I've been able to connect with people all over the world that would say to me, I always wanted to go to one of your retreats or do a workshop with you. And I couldn't because I've got kids or whatever. And now I've got groups of, 20 women at a time doing workshops with me. And I'm amazed at how deep we go in this medium, that people are connecting, and it's sweet. And I'm loving it. And I still do want to do live things. I'll probably next year I'll start to do some, live retreats, but this has been for me, as much as I feel for the world and what's going on, and I hope we get out of it. And I just grieve for all the people we've lost. For me personally, it's been a miracle to be able to do this, and to be sitting here talking with you, and I'm in San Francisco and you're in LA.
Right, exactly. I feel the same way. One of the special things that have come up in this opportunity of going to Fort Lauderdale, it will be a hybrid experience now. I will be doing live every Sunday. I will be in a live community in person, but then we will still be able to do our show via what we do. And I believe that is a new experience, that we will have this hybrid for a very, very long time. And I love it.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
It's not going to change. I think that there's a lot of people now that we all know how to do this.
Right.
And I think it's been really, I know that there are churches that I will now, drop into in the country. And now they have so many people in their congregation that don't even live in their state that are part of their congregation now. Yeah. So I think there's pros and cons to everything, but to me, this has been, a bit of a miracle, I have to say.
That's right. So Karen, if I asked you that big old question, the big question that always drops in our consciousness, who are you?
Oh, good Lord. If I could answer that in 20 seconds,
Who are you?
Who am I? What's interesting about, I love that. That's a great question, because, one of the things that I say in all my women's retreats is I say, start your day by putting your hand over your heart, and you say, what does my heart have to say today? What is my heart? And just to really listen to that answer. And what's great about a question like that is, who am I changes every day. Who I was a year ago is different than who I am today. And who I am right now in this moment, I would say, is a person who is trying to, I don't want to use the word try. I'm a person who is seeking and looking for my most authentic self and how that can be expressed in the world. The picture I always use is the idea of, when you see cement and there's one little crack in the cement and you have a flower growing up in that place where it's just all cement and here's a flower growing up in the crack. I feel like that's who I am. Like, I'm always trying to express spirit in whatever way that shows up, and to be willing to look at, and this is where I'm at, and I'm sure you've gone through this with your move and looking at, do I want to move to Florida and all this stuff, looking at, what am I doing today that is it truly expressing my true self?
Yes.
And when something is not, to be willing to go through the uncomfortableness of, in a way, it's like clutter clearing. It's like, weeds. It's like looking at, is this thing I'm doing serving the world and serving me? If it's not, I've got to clear that out. Am I with people that are supportive of me and my dreams, and all that stuff. So I feel like it's a constant, the fact that you're in the flow here, it's a constant flow of looking at what is working, what is not, and saying, does this light me up or does this dim my light down? And be willing to look at that and tell the truth and say, who is my most authentic self? And when something is not that, be willing to tell the truth about it and move on it, or say, you know what? I will only go as fast as the soulest part of me feels safe to go. From my little song, I will be gentle with myself.
Yes.
And say, okay, I see that this is the truth and I'm not quite there yet. So I'm going to be easy on myself and just say, okay, I know that there's a truth there, but I'm not willing. So there's been a few things recently where I realize it's time to move on from something.
Okay.
And I see that that's happening, but the container ship that needs to take its time moving is not quite there yet. Does that make sense?
It makes all the sense. And the follow-up question to you is this: Are you able to see how much inspiration and how you have shifted people's lives with the work that you do, besides your keynote speaking, but your music? If I could say that you are a positive musician that put out this positive music, you have literally shifted the planet and helped us all to heal. Do you recognize the work that you've done, the shift that you made I know, right? You want to just cover it up.
Well, I'll tell you, Skip, that actually is one of my issues. It's to really open up to that, because I'm one of these people that I just always feel like, I'm not curing cancer. So, I'm trying to help people.
Although you are, helping to cure the cancer, because I have your healing music. I got your healing music, sister. I got it.
Oh, yeah. So I would say that, you teach what you need to learn, and there's no accident that a lot of my workshops are about shine your light, heal the world, be who you are, open up to your abundance, all that stuff. It's some of my issues of just, because people will say that. They'll literally come up to me and go, do you realize that, and I tend to, it's old scripts. It's like my dad saying, don't shine your light too bright and you're going to make people upset, and don't brag. And, I wrote an article for my last newsletter about, I won this thing called the Walden Award. And when they announced it, they sent out an email saying, here's where you need to announce, that you won this thing, to send it out to all these media outlets. And I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't do that. That's like, and it just triggered all that stuff. And so it's like, oh, how interesting. Stuff to work on. Yes. There's a new song I have to write about.
Stuff to work on. I like the title. Stuff to work on.
Yeah.
And in this process of, I love the word that the kids like to use. When I hear it, I'm just laughing. They use that word woke. And I'm like, okay, you pretty woke, sister. But what was your journey like of spiritual awakening? And we have this question every week, but people want to know, what is spiritual awakening, and what was your journey like in your spiritual awakening?
Well, I would say that it came to me in a really interesting way because, I was a blues singer. I was singing blues and rock and roll, and I was doing private parties, and, I was making my living doing that. And then my friend Melissa Felipe, who's another wonderful New Thought artist, was a music director up at CSL in Napa. And she said, could you just come and sing a few happy songs? I need to go sing in another church. Can you just sub for me? And I'm like, I don't do church. I'm a rock and roll and jazz singer. What are you talking about? But I went to that church that day and I started hearing the message and going, well, this is stuff I believe. I didn't know there was like a thing about this. And then I realized there's books and there's people that are talking about this and ministering about this. And it was like this gradual awakening of going, wow, this is all the stuff I already believe. Yeah. And when I started to write songs around the minister's message, because after a while I was done with my happy songs, like accentuate the positive and all these just basic happy songs, I started to write these songs and I started to see that people were getting affected by it. And they were coming back to me saying, I sang those words all week when I was going through a hard time. Thanks for that little chant. And that became my awakening, was realizing that, wow, you mean if you sing positive messages and you know, if you say them, but even more specifically, when you sing them and they really become like an earworm that you're singing them all day long, that allows you to start shifting your consciousness. And in so doing, writing these songs started to shift my conscious and really allowed me to feel my purpose. And then my purpose got even stronger when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer many, many years ago. And I started writing songs for her while she was going through chemo. And, you know, instead of just sitting there, just taking the chemo, it's like, well, you know, what happens if you're infusing your mind with positive messages, that you're hearing stuff while this stuff is going into your body? And that became my purpose. And that has really been the mainstay of what it is that I do. And I'll tell you that it's all very selfish, because all of the things that I write about, you get to see what all my issues are when I'm affirming in my life. You know, yes. I'm singing these songs to myself to say, you know, yes, be gentle with yourself, little girl. You don't need to beat yourself up when you do something wrong. You know, I will be gentle and I'll treat myself like a baby child. And so I started writing these songs, and that's really become my purpose, is to do music that can be, if it's 2:00 in the morning and those gremlins are coming in going, oh, I'm nervous about moving, or I'm nervous about my surgery in the morning, that you can have a song that can bring you back to center and calm you down. And that's what it does for me. So I believe that's purpose.
But you know, one of the things I want to ask you, because you are the master of chants and making things simple and repeatable so you don't forget it.
Yeah.
Where did that formula come from? Is this something that you just, because not everyone writes chants that you can remember, but I can put on a chant and dive right into the chorus right away with you. Where did that come from?
You know, that's a really good question. No one's ever asked me that. And, you know, I think that, you know, I started off as a pop music songwriter. And, you know, I grew up in Hollywood and I was taking my little songs around to publishers and stuff. And so I think I learned the idea of what a good chorus is. But I think really what happened was, you know, I mean, this is kind of weird to say, but it's like, I've never thought I was a very good singer. I mean, I just, you know, I listen to other singers who can do Aretha Franklin licks up and down, and they can do, you know, they're doing all this stuff. But I realized that my particular gift or talent was that I had the ability to make this be like, I have a sandbox and I want everyone to come and play in my sandbox. And if I do anything that's going to make it that they can't play in my sandbox, like doing an Aretha Franklin lick or doing some kind of a rhythmical turn that they have to go, wait, what did you do? I have to make it. I mean, my rule of thumb is that, what a weird expression, my rule of thumb. Where did that come from? But my rule is that, my rule is that if a 5-year-old kid can't sing it back to me within one time, I don't have it yet. So in other words, the simpler I can make it, that you can hear it once, but then you can close your eyes and drop into your heart and sing it over and over. That's what I don't want to ever see this, that everyone's going, like, you know, that they're trying to figure out what I just did. And that's the difference in a way, sometimes I think, between me and some really good singers who write chants, that they're showing you how well they can sing and they're doing all this kind of really cool vocal stuff. But it makes it that the listener will kind of go, oh, I'll just wait, you know, because they're scared of singing out of time or doing it wrong. But my thing is, if I can make you come in the sandbox and sing along with me, and I'm essentially saying, I'm driving the bus here, you know, I got your back. I'm not going to leave you stranded. that's the rule. So what I have done with my many albums that I've done is I'll do a chant album that everything is really vocally just right there, really straight. You're not going to hear me going off the melody. But then the next album sometimes will be a song album where I get to express, I get to sing out a little bit more. But that's the Karen Drucker rule of writing chants right there.
I love it. I love it. And I know you had a workshop on writing chants as well for us to learn that everyone can write a chant. Everyone has that talent.
Oh, they do. And that's so hysterical. People always go, oh, I don't have any musical talent. And I say to them, I don't know how to read music. Never took any lessons. Don't know what I'm doing. You can right now write your own chant that you can sing every day to yourself. So yeah, that's some of the stuff I'm offering online too, is doing, writing your own chant stuff. It's fun. It's really fun.
So right now, what is the chant that is healing you? What is the chant that's going through your soul right now?
Wow. All is well. I can rest. I am safe. All is well. All is well. I can rest. I am safe. All is well. All is well. I can rest. I am safe. All is well. I mean, just to keep saying, when I go into stress, all is well. I can rest. I'm safe. Don't worry, little one. It's all going to work out. It can be easy. And I say to people, when they are going, oh, I can't write a chant, use that one. What is it that you need to say to yourself right now? So you, Skip, even for you, all is well. I can pack. It'll all work out in time. I'll get there.
Yes.
What are the 4 lines you need to say to yourself? Use that melody. All is well. It's all in divine timing. Whatever affirmations you need to say, use that melody. Just sing that over and over.
Okay, I'm going to be making up some chants as I'm packing. I never compare, and I don't do that. But I want to bring something very special to me that I just recognize. I don't know why I drop load into my system now, so I'm going to say it. There are musicians that make you feel like it's going to be okay. There's only very few musicians that really make me go, oh, I'm at home. I'm going to be peaceful. Karen Carpenter is one that does that to me.
Oh yeah.
You do that to me.
Oh,
whatever you're saying, it's the tone of the voice, and you don't sound like Karen Carpenter, but it's just a feeling tone that helps me to drop into a place of peace.
That's the biggest compliment I can get.
Oh my goodness. And she's just one of my favorite. And I know something about you that most people don't know about you. Can I share?
What?
You were in Carol Burnett show.
Yeah.
You were on the Carol Burnett show. Can you share with our listeners and our viewers a little of that Carol Burnett story, which I love?
All right. Well, I'll make it real short because
it's
a big story. But basically, I was this real geeky kid in junior high school, and just, I was straightening my hair. I had acne and braces. It's lovely. But Carol Burnett was like my total idol because she had gone to my junior high school and high school. I mean, she had graduated from my school. And so I used to take the bus down every single Friday. My mom would let me do this. I took the bus down to CBS Television Center. I would stand in line for 2 hours. I'd make a beeline to the seat in the very front. And, she was my idol. I mean, I would just sit there every week just going, oh my God, she's so fabulous. And one time, I don't even know what inspired me. And when I tell this story, I always say, this is how spirit lives in you, because I had no preconceived idea of doing this. But when she did her question and answer period at the beginning of her show, one day, all of a sudden, my hand went up and I'm like, trying to get it down before she saw me. It's like, I don't even know why it went up. But she came to me and said, what would you like? And I was just like a deer in the headlights. But I said, okay, I don't even know where this came from. Can I challenge you to a Tarzan calling contest? And because I had just won the Edgar Rice Burroughs Tarzan calling contest the week before. And I have a little plaque that says I won this. so she says, yeah, come up on stage. And I'm like, oh my God. So I get up on stage. I've never been on a stage in my life. I'm this total geeky kid, but now I'm standing next to my idol. And, so everything's great. And the reason I always tell this story is because it's one of those pivotal moments in my life where I was in heaven. I'm up on stage. People are smiling at me. I'm next to my idol. She's lovely. But I look out and hear all the really cool girls from my school that are all rolling their eyes in that Valley Girl way of just going, oh my God, is this Karen Drucker? Oh my gosh, she is such a geek, and they're like doing this, like they don't know me. And in that moment, I just gave them all the power. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I wanted to get out of there. I was just like, so upset. But I realized, that's how spirit gives you lessons. That in that moment at like 14 years old, 13, 14, I just realized I could give them the power. I could take my power. Mm-hmm. And it felt like there was this line drawn right there. I could either step over that line and just, claim who I was, or shrink back and keep giving them the power and be this little dweeby girl that I was. And in that moment, I remember looking at Carol Burnett and looking at those girls and stepping over the line. And I can't do this really loud right now because I'll blow out your sound. But, I do this great Tarzan yell. Yes. And, and the audience goes crazy. And she just goes, oh, you're better than me, and makes it like I won. And then I go sit down, and my life was just totally changed at that point. I just felt totally different. And the next day I see the girls, those same girls, and they're like, oh, Karen, you're really cool. Do you want to be in our group? And I'm like, no.
That's amazing.
We have those moments where it's like, you get to choose, who do I want to be? And I still feel those moments where it's like, I can feel myself shrinking back. And then it's like, no, get online, figure out how to do this, be on, just do it, be who you are.
Yeah.
So
I saw that episode, and I remember that episode, and it's just it's so amazing, so amazing. I got to ask, who's your musician, your go-to musician when it's not, I can't listen to a Karen Drucker song, when because we get that. Okay. So there you go. So I know musicians I talk to and authors like myself. I don't really like reading my own stuff, but it's out there. But who do you go to for inspiration? Who's your music?
I love my Gary Lynn Floyd. I love Gary Lynn Floyd is one of my main songwriting partners right now, and I love loving spirit dwells in me. Mm-hmm. This is my divinity. Gary, it's like I could just hear these songs in his voice. I just like cry. So to work with him is just such an honor. But, I listen to a lot of instrumental music, and Marina Ray is my go-to musician. I don't know that I'd call her a new thought musician. She's like kind of more in the new age kind of stuff, but it's just flutes and waterfalls and owls, and it's just the most beautiful music. But there's Let Go of the Shore is my favorite song. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Rev.
Song Let Go of the Shore is like, how do I let go of the shore? One of the lines in that song is float into the mystery.
Yeah.
How do you float into the mystery? But I had to, I write these songs to be like, okay, I've got to let go of this. So anyway, to answer your question, there's so many great musicians. Karen Taylor Good and Stowe Daly, they're called Stowe Good. Love their songs. But, I would say a lot of our new thought musicians just have just beautiful, great songs that just can inspire us all the time. Claudia Carawan, yeah.
Yeah, it's really the place I see that it's the least recognized, but the most needed. And we were talking about this. I think it was you or we had on another podcast that I do on Tuesday with Faith Rivera and Reverend Jackie Fernandez, and we were saying how there isn't a real category you see in the Grammys or in these award shows, but it's not about the awards, and I want to be very clear about that. But it's not as recognized as it needs to be. The New Thought and what we do in New Thought and what you do in the music, it's very.
Yeah, well, yeah, honey, you are on it, because look at what's going on right now with Facebook. Yeah. With them literally saying, with this whistleblower and the whole discussion about this, I don't know if everyone knows about this, but the fact that they're saying that Facebook recognizes that if everyone is in negativity and anger and upsetness, they're going to keep being on that platform. And they've seen that that's the moneymaker, that you get people angered and whatever. And that's that they've chosen. I mean, I don't want to get political right now.
But please do. We do all the time. So please do.
Okay. But I mean, the fact that they're saying that they're seeing the algorithms, that it's like if people get on there and it's hate and it's upsetness and that they're going to make more money. And so it's the same thing with it's just life. It's the music business. It's everything that it's like positive messages. Like what happens when we read the news or when we listen to the news at night? It's all this negative stuff. And I remember right in the midst of the lockdown, John Krasinski, how he had I can't remember the name of his show, but it was like the Good News Network or the Good News something that That's he right. just did a show all about just good stuff.
That's right.
And we were all like, I mean, people need that so much, but why is it that the songs of "You Done Left Me" and "I'm Throwing Myself Off the Golden Gate Bridge" and "You're Awful," those are the ones that sell, much more than, I mean, thank God that there is much more in mainstream. It's gotten better with songs like "Happy," and there have been more songs, but it's like, I'm with you. I mean, no, it's not about awards, but I would love to see positive message music really be this real thing.
Yes.
I mean, at one point when, remember, now I'm dating myself, but, going to Tower Records, that when you would go to a record store, all they would have was this little section called Windham Hill. That was like the only place that had positive kind of that sort of music. But wouldn't it be great if you thought about in the world a somehow digital, Tower Records, that there's a huge space for people going, I want positive music.
Yes.
I mean, my passion and my mission, I'll tell you, when I was on the road and traveling and I would get hired at conferences, like medical conferences or mind body health conferences. And I would be like the new thought, I would be the one positive musician. People would come up to me. I mean, it was also really interesting because people would be sitting in the front row like this, like, I don't want to sing. They didn't know who I was. And I'm going, I am so blessed. Everybody's I don't want to.
Right.
But if I got any of them on my side, they would come up to my table and go, oh my God, I've never heard music like this. Do you know of more people doing music like this? And I'd be like, come with me, let me show you this world. But they would literally come up and say, I've never heard music like this. Is there more of this?
Yeah.
And so I felt like this is my mission, is to go into these places where I am not known and positive music isn't known and open up the doors. It's one thing to play at a church and I come out and everyone sings my songs. That's great. I don't ever take it for granted. But to me, the bigger mission for me personally is to get to these places where people don't know about this music and I can open the door for all of us.
And you infuse comedy in your talks. You are very funny. I've watched some of your talks online and I mean, belly laugh comedy. How important is that? And I know it's very important to you, but where did the roots of your comedy come from? And you do it so well when you speak and when you sing and just, you make me laugh. Sis,
Thank
make
you.
me laugh.
Well, my mantra for any time I do anything, make them laugh, make them cry. If I've done that, done my job. As soon as I see people doing this, it's like, oh, good. Thank you so much. My favorite noise is that.
Yeah, pass the plate, y'all. Pass the plate.
Yeah. But to me, it all comes down to everything I do is about opening your heart. Yes. Everything I do is all about opening your heart. And what better way for me to get in there to those places that are kind of doing this than with laughter? So if I can manipulate you in a way, it's not bad manipulation, it's good manipulation. If I can kind of get in there by, with my comedy, doing a few comedy songs in a show. I mean, my concerts are all about, I start off, and I do comedy at the beginning. And then as soon as I do my, the biggest comedy song I have, then I can go into You Are the Face of God and, You Are Loved and, all of these, how could anyone ever tell you all these kinds of songs that your heart will, you can open then. So comedy is a big part of who I am. And it's just, it's not something I think about. It's kind of sort of in there. I mean, I don't study it. I don't, it's like I just know that comedy and laughter is what brings us together. There's no political divide when you're laughing at something.
I love that.
We can all laugh and we can open our hearts together, and that's what I'm here to do.
Yes. Well, at this point now, we go into our yes moment, and our yes moment is an acronym. I love a good acronym, and the yes moment is you expressing spirit. This is where I get to let you do your thing. So everyone, this is our dear friend Karen Drucker right here in her yes moment. Thank you.
You express in spirit. You express in spirit. You express in spirit. I express my spirit right now. So, to me, expressing spirit is just showing up and being present. That's it. And, I really feel like, I've taught songwriting and performing classes for years. And I would always say to people, it's like when you're performing and you start at 100%, if you're nervous about your song or your lyrics, or you don't know how to work the microphone or whatever, everything that you're nervous about drops that percentage down. So it's like, if here's presence, everything you're nervous about drops it down. So in other words, if I'm nervous about all these different things and I didn't learn my lines and all this stuff, I'm only there at 40% presence. And that's why a lot of times people will come off stage and go, what happened? I don't even remember what happened. It's because they were only 40% there. So my job as a teacher would be to work on all these things so that they'd get up to 80% or 90% or maybe even 100%. And they'd walk off stage and they'd feel that applause. They'd feel what was happening. Their hearts would be open. And so to me, it's the same thing in life. The more I can weed out the, forgivenesses and the, everything I'm hanging on to, any stuff that's in my way, the weeds, like I called them before, it allows me to be more present. And when I'm more present, that to me is my yes. That to me is my yes, that I'm saying yes to the things I want to say yes to. I'm going through the discomfort of saying no to people or situations that don't serve me, or I'm not serving them in the best way. So yes, to me, is being 100% authentically there and present. And that means I'm fully present to whatever is happening. And that's my yes.
Oh, thank you so much for doing this. Again, inspiring the world. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. You're great. It makes it fun. I've done things like this before where you're kind of going, when is this going to end?
Well, I'm so glad
giving you big brownie points.
Thank you.
And you're in the flow, Skip. You're on to your next adventure, and I think that is your yes. That Spirit's calling you out to express even more. And with this show and with your ministry, your yoga, everything you're doing, you are a big gigantic yes to me.
Thank you. And I received that. Where can we find you throughout I know you have a couple good things that are going on.
Look at these graphics. Okay, you are so hired by me.
Right, Diego, you got another job, brother, coming up.
Right now, I'll send you a check. So what I'm doing right now, one of my yeses was I want people to connect more through music. And especially I have so many people coming to my classes going, I'm just alone all week long and I'm not with anybody. So I started this thing called Second Sunday Sacred Sing at 6. Say that 5 times fast.
Wow.
And so every second Sunday of every month, I just took a few months off in the summer, but I've been doing this all year, that it's a free sing-along for an hour. I have special guests. Gary joins me once in a while, but I have different people come on and join me. And it's just an hour of singing, and it's free. And the Zoom link is on my website. You can just get it right there on the front page of my website and just sing. My money is like a bunny, goes forth and multiplies. So I just
yes.
Actually, Carol, thank you for all of your input. And actually, every time I do a theme, and maybe I'll do abundance and prosperity as the theme for Sunday. That would be fun.
I love that.
I'll think about that. But anyway, join me there. But otherwise, sign up on my newsletter, KarenDrucker.com. I send out every month.
I get it. It's so good. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, absolutely. And everyone, thank you again for being a part of our community. If you want to continue to support us, we're asking for a donation. So you can support the New Thought Media Network by going to ntmedia.org. ntmedia.org/donate. Donate to help this ministry to go out so everyone can know more about Karen Drucker and our other guests that we've had on the show. Also, if you want to support Rev Skip, I take donations. I take PayPal, Venmo. You can fly it into me however you want so that I may continue to do the work that I've been called to do as well. It's a law of circulation. And as we freely give, we shall receive. And also just know that you can follow me on all the social medias. I'm at Rev Skip Jennings on every social media, from Twitter, Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I can't get down with the TikTok yet. So I'm not TikTok. But you know what, Karen, Reverend Michael's on TikTok. I'm going, I can't do the tick and the talk. It's not.
And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I mean, you don't look at how you're on 9,000 platforms. Let it be. When it's time to TikTok, you'll just go, okay, now it's time to TikTok. Yes. You don't need to TikTok right now. You're doing enough. You're moving. Give yourself a break.
Thank you. I am going to give myself a break. And I always remind people, you can take me home and not cook me breakfast. You can go to my website and find out at skipjennings.com, my newsletter, my books, my T-shirts, and hoodies. You can find out everything else that I'm doing. Also, I have a great podcast I mentioned before. It's on Unity Radio with Faith Rivera and Jackie Fernandez, Reverend Jackie Fernandez. Fun. It's fun. Karen's been on. That's where I met her. And it's just like, I got to get her on In the Flow. So please join me. Find out more information about this movement, what we're calling Positivity, New Thought. It's a great thing that's happening here on this planet. Karen, once again, thank you so much.
Maybe I need to come to Fort Lauderdale.
I'm going to make that happen. Okay. That was in my mind. You're up in the one mind with me. So we got to make that happen. And everyone,
thank you so much. It was so fun to meet you.
You're so welcome. And everyone, remember, transformation is a choice and you can choose today. And I forgot. Thank you. Thank you, Diego. I'm going to pop this up here. Next week, my brother, Reverend Jason Mitchell from the Agape International Spiritual Center will be here. He's my classmate. Please join us next week and get that and get all that information about next week's show. We're going to be dropping in the socials. Jason will be here. And special shout out to my guest, co-host was Reverend Cheryl. Reverend Cheryl, she was dropping the notes in there to me. We love you, Reverend Cheryl. So thank you for being here with us today online. And again, I'm going to say it again. Remember, transformation is a choice and you can choose today. God bless everyone. We'll see you next week.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.